Crash of Beasts? What? Alright, I got to turn off my stuff here. Yeah. Crash of Beasts. There's really no contest there. Ridiculous. This kind of puts me firmly in Wild. I don't think I can not play Wild at this point. Mono Wild would have been really good against that deck that we just played against, too. Bucktooth Commander. Silver Talon, another Thunderbird. Time Ripple. I kind of want to get people out of Wild right now, so I'm going to go ahead and draft the Tyrannosaurus Hex. The Thunderbird should signal people that Sapphire is really open, and so should the Wizard. That should, so people should be staying out of, like, that should just straight up signal people that Sapphire is wide open. So taking this Tyrannosaurus Hex, it's a pretty good body, has Crush. You really want Crush on your stuff when you're playing Wild. If we play big enough bodies, we can play that Fight card as well for removal. Fulmination, Gigantisaur, Shroom Tank, another Bucktooth Commander. This is the second Bucktooth Commander I've had passed to me. I could go with some sort of Shin here Wild, I guess. Shroom Tank. Alright, I'm going to take this Bucktooth Commander. We'll see if the other one tables. I don't think that I'm not sure. It might, it may not. This kind of puts us into like some sort of Shin here Wild with some ramp elements. Maybe. Shin Hair versus that Ruby deck might have been pretty good too. Depending on the Shin Hair card. So now I've seen two Bucktooth Commanders already. It's another Tyrannosaurus, Nature's Reigns. Wild Aura is really good. I think we have to take the Wild Aura here. It's just too good not to take. It's removal. Gives things Crush. It's pretty amazing. It'll give Crush to our little Battle Hoppers that we'll be making. Hopefully we'll see that other Bucktooth Commander table. Or we'll see another one later, would be really nice. But we're kind of mono wild right now. Honeycap, amazing mono wild card, so we'll go ahead and take that. Pretty easy choice there. Not a lot of thinking necessary. We're of course signaling by passing some of that Ruby stuff that Ruby is open. So hopefully people will go into Ruby. Someone's in Ruby. Yeah, I believe it was an article by Craig Wesco that I read. Alright, so I'm going to go with this Briar Legion. I've seen these things actually do some stuff, so we're going to take that. We're going to take that Briar Legion early, in case we draw some. If we draw two of them, even just two of them, has been pretty good for me. I think the only way I would not play one is if I only had one, then I wouldn't play one. But, you know, when you've got two or more, they're pretty good in draft. My removal in that game, like his Ruby deck was just so sick. It was like playing against almost like a constructed Ruby deck with how good it was. Another Wild Aura, Glimmer Glen Witch. I have to take the Wild Aura, really. Even two Wild Auras is not too much. So Wild Aura is just too good. Glimmer Glen Witch is pretty good, but Wild Aura is so much better. That's another combat trick that we kind of need to have as removal. Most of our removal comes in the form of pumping our creatures up during combat. This is our second draft today. We lost the first draft to Serious Business Games, or he calls him Mr. Serious Business Games. Calls himself MSB. He's either in Australia or in. There's another Wild Aura, so I'm just gonna suck up this Wild Aura, but I won't play it, just to force people out of Wild again. We're just going to force people out of Wild by doing that. Because a Wild Child is not the greatest. Here, let's sort by cost. so we can see our curve visually. Nature's Reigns is a good reserves card, so we'll definitely pick that up here. We may main deck this, we may not. It depends. Depends on like what our deck shapes up to look like. Even 3 Wild Auras, I would consider playing 3 Wild Auras with a champion that puts in, you know, 0-1 Battle Hoppers, you know. Because we'll probably be playing Munika Shin here. I'd like to see another Briar Legion, though. It is common, so there's a very good chance we'll see another Briar Legion. Wild Child again. So we're going to take the Wild Child again just to force people out of Wild. I may play it, I may not. I probably won't. Shinhair Militia is not horrible. The Gigantisaur is not bad either, but we don't have any ramp yet. We don't have any 1-drops. I think I'd rather just take the Gigantisaur. It's just a really nice big body to have, and hopefully we get some ramp later. Another Tyrannosaurus Hex is pretty good. Nature's Reigns is also good. Removal. I'm gonna take the Nature's Reign. I think I've got a decent amount of big bodies right now, so just in case. I mean, having 2 of those in reserves is pretty good, especially versus that dwarf player. So we've kind of picked the flyer, although they could give flying to this Mystic Tranquil Dream, but this guy always has flying, and he's a kind of a dredge for us. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave him out. Tyrannosaurus Hex. Yeah, we're gonna pull him back out. Yeah, we're gonna pull those guys out. I guess if I'm in the bin. Okay, I don't want to look at this army ants. So there's another zombie plague. Okenge is pretty good. Survival of Fittest is good removal for us. It's probably the best removal we have. This is going to force someone into blood. I think I take Survival of Fittest because it's removal. Still trying to get my stuff stacked properly here. This guy just does not want to go back into my deck. There he goes. Alright, so now we can see him. We need some ramp cards. Hopefully we run across either Howling Braves or... It'd be nice to get like 2 Howling Braves, but, you know, I don't think I would want any more than that. And then we want Chlorophillia, of course. Let's see here. There's another Honeycap, which seems pretty good. So probably the Honeycap. Yeah, Honeycap's just so strong in this deck, so we're gonna take that Honeycap. I don't want this giant army ants. I don't need to see you. Get out of here, giant army ants. Giant army ants. Who do you think you're kidding? I don't feel like I made any mistakes against MSB when I was playing them, so that at least makes me feel good. So at the end of the day, when you're playing and you don't do well... Oh, this is really good. Briar Legion. We've been looking for that guy. At the end of the night, or at the end of your play session, if you lose a bunch of games, or if you lose your tournament, you look back and see how many play mistakes you made. And if you made a very few amount of play mistakes, it just wasn't your night. But if you made a lot, then you might want to start working on that. That's the way I look at it. Runs to the litter, it's not the greatest. Ugh. So I'm going to go ahead and suck up this run to the litter, but just to force people again out of wild, I'm going to take this really bad card and leave all those good cards. It's kind of tactical again. We may or may not play Run to the Litter. It depends how many buffs we have. Like right now, we've only got 1 Bucktooth Commander. We've passed 1, so that kind of signals people that Shinhair was open, but we're kind of closing it up now. So it depends. We are in pack 2. We did pass that to the left, so that may have kind of shot us in the foot there. So we're kind of really getting hosed on our pack 2 here. A lot of the wild cards seem to be gone. Nasty in a good way or in a bad way, Frank? I mean, like, because right now I'm not getting the ramp cards I need. It looks like nasty, like it's not going to happen. Like it's not going to work most of the time. The 2 Briar Legion is pretty good. I mean, we may or may not... I'm not even sure how much other stuff. We might have to play 18 shards in this deck with the curve we've got right now is what I'm thinking. But 2 Honeycaps is pretty good. I drafted 3 the other day, and that did pretty well for me. Okay, so no wild cards whatsoever. We do have an Effigy, which we can make a 3/3 Effigy. Not really the best. If there's any flyers, we want to counterpick those. We don't really see any, but we do have this guy, which could be a flyer. But so could Effigy. Effigy is just more versatile, so we're just going to pick him because we can actually play him, whereas we couldn't play the Tranquil Dream. Yeah, I've got lots of good bodies, but I have to get there, you know? And so it depends. Really depends. Yeah, exactly. Like, I need my Resource Dorks or Chlorophillia. I need the, whatever they're called, Howling Braves. I need those. Curve doesn't look too bad right now-ish. Okay, another Briar Legion. That's a pretty obvious pick. So we've got 3 Briar Legions, so that by itself looks pretty good. So right now, it looks like we're not even going to play Run to the Litter because things to pump it up, we've got very few of them. We've got like 1 pump card for it, and we've got nothing to like use them to sack them to or use them for resources. I mean, they chump block for us, which doesn't really do anything for us. We could probably play this Wounded Petal, though. That guy's pretty good. It's a nice body, I guess, for the cost. Yeah, exactly. Another Briar Legion there. Chlorophillia is definitely the pick here. Yeah, this is definitely the pick. We need that Chlorophillia badly. Very badly. We don't have a ton of removal, but Wild notoriously doesn't have a lot of removal. Wild is supposed to be aggressive, big monsters type of thing. Okay, so Dwarven Armory, Fate Rack. So there's really no picks in this thing for us. What do we want to do? Okay, so we're going to take the Scrap Welder because it could have flight. That's why we're taking the Scrap Welder. We're not going to play him, though. Ruby Aura shouldn't be too hard for us to deal with. So we're basically doing a lot of counterpicking here. So probably the Heavy Welding Bot's pretty good for us. We could play this if we draw... If we get some sort of artifact to redo in our deck, but we probably won't. Plus, it's another body we don't have to deal with to match up against us. We don't really need this infusion device. And Cosmic Totem gets exiled after you use it. It gets voided. So we really don't want that either. So... I guess we'll take the infusion device. That's kind of more of a counter pick because we're probably not going to play that infusion device. Probably Zodiac Shaman, I guess. We're not going to play him. We really don't care about Arcane Shield. We don't have a lot of things to target anyways. Darkspire Priestess is kind of a quick drop, so we'll counter pick that here. We're in pack 2, so we're kind of like... There's a lot of counter picks that come up here anyways because we're kind of on a drought. We'll take Bravery, as it's a combat trick that we don't want to deal with necessarily, but most of our stuff should be too big. And I guess I'll take Ritualist, as it's the dredge for me. But this guy's actually really good. Yeah, there we go. Pack 3 Wrathwood Colossus. What? So that's a pretty obvious pick there. There's really nothing else to pick, so we just need a little bit more ramp to get there. We're definitely playing 18 resources now that we've got this Wrathwood Colossus in the deck, and we'll probably no longer play this Gigantisaur, or Heavy Welding Bot for that matter. Tyrannosaurus Hex is still pretty good because it has Crush, but yeah, this Wrathwood Colossus is going to win games outright for us. There's a Servant, which you really don't need. There's a Burn, Runs to the Litter, Bottled Vitae. So Bottled Vitae is probably the pick here for us. We can pull it back with Heavy Welding Bot, so that gives us at least a reason to play Heavy Welding Bot. We could get the Runs to the Litter, but again, we don't have enough buffs to make Runs to the Litter useful. So Bottled Vitae is actually the better pick here. That was ridiculous. Wrathwood Colossus. Oh, wow. So, what else have we got? We got Wild Child, another Militia, Wild Growth. We talked about Wild Growth in my last one. I do especially like it because it's one of these cards that once I shuffle it into the deck, you never know if I have it again. And even if I have 0 resources after I play it the first time, once I've drawn a card, there's a chance I could play it for 0. So, as a one-of, I think it's great. I don't know that I would play more than that in a deck. I could be wrong about that, though. Ridiculous. Wrathwood Colossus. I hope I get to play this Wrathwood Colossus. Okay, so we definitely want the Howling Brave. We need the ramp right now. We've got a Chlorophillia as well. Chlorophillia is probably better. There's a chance we'll see another Howling Brave, so we're going to actually take Chlorophillia here because it also deck thins us. But, you know, yeah, and the Howling Brave's common, so we'll take the uncommon ramp over the common ramp. Good that we saw that Chlorophillia. I kind of need a decent amount of ramp now. We don't have, like, any picks here. Really, we don't. Charge Bot, maybe. Yeah, we're probably not even going to play this Charge Bot. I just don't want to have to deal with maybe this Combat Trick. I don't know. Howling Ambushed. What do we not want to deal with? Probably Sapphire Aura. We don't want to deal with Flyers. So, or actually, maybe the Sky Griffin. Yeah, Sky Griffin. Yeah, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with you, Sky Griffin. So there is another Briar Legion, which is going to be the pick here, likely. We also have Survival of the Fittest, but Briar Legion is just so good by itself that, yeah, it's probably a cut above the Survival of the Fittest, even though that is removal for us. Really big Briar Legions. We now have 4 Briar Legions. We have a playset of Briar Legions in this draft deck. If we get a 5th one, I mean, you know, that now we're just being mean. We're just breaking the rules there. At this point, we probably won't even play necessarily like Bucktooth Commander in this deck. As it stands, this is more of a ramp deck. Survival of Fittest again. So yeah, there you go. There's another Survival of Fittest anyways. So we'll go ahead and pick that up as removal. Seems pretty good. Let's see, another Honeycap's really good for us. We got another Chlorophillia though. We're probably going to go Chlorophillia. I really want to be able to play these big drops, so, and it also deck thins for us. The Honeycap would have been good as well, but I've already got 2, but I really want to make sure that I can play some of these big things, and this just deck thins. It's just really good deck manipulation, so that's why I picked that up. Ivory Pond's pretty bad here. Necrotic Rogue. So we're just going to counterpick this Alkalite because I just don't want to deal with Flight Troops. I just don't want to deal with them. That's like the weakest. I'm the weakest of flying anything that flies. Buccaneer's pretty bad for me, so that's probably the counterpick here. Again, Runs the Litter does almost nothing for us. We don't have enough buffs for the Runs of the Litter. So, but yeah, Buccaneer is pretty bad to bounce most of our stuff, except for Wrathwood Colossus, of course. Chenier Militia is not really the best. Wild Child's not really that great either. We're in pack 3 now, so we can actually counterpick things. So I guess I'll counterpick the Zodiac Shaman's like the best body here. I'll just counterpick that. I'm not going to play Wild Child anyways, so. Cottontail Ronin, the Howling Brave's probably the obvious pick here for ramp again. So we've got 2 Howling Braves, I think, or maybe that's just one. No, just one. I had one from the last game I remembered. Crushing Blow or Sapphire Aura. Probably Sapphire Aura, as we don't, again, want to deal with flyers. Crushing Blow, I mean, most of our stuff should be big enough to deal. Yeah, Wheeling Buccaneers, yeah. That definitely is interesting. Twisted Fate or Scrap Welder. This guy can fly, so again, that's what we're going to counterpick here. He is also, he's a body, whereas the Fate thing isn't. And Zodiac Shaman is our dredge. Which isn't, you know, we don't really have a 5-drop in this deck, interestingly enough. Alright, so we want to play probably around 18 resources, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw those in there right now, just because we have a lot to kind of ramp into. We have to be careful the amount of ramp that we're actually throwing in the deck as well. We're deck thinning a lot, so Crash the Beast is going to be really good in this deck. Let's go ahead and turn our filters on. I'm going to go ahead and turn my face on, actually, so you guys can see me. I'm debating on whether I really want to play Munika Shin or not in this deck. I'm not sure. I'll have to look through the champions I have to select. 4 ramp cards seems fine. Survival of Fittest, of course, is good. We're probably not going to play the Bucktooth Commander now. We definitely want at least 1 or 2 Wild Auras. We'll put 2 for now. Let's go ahead and turn off everything except for Wild so we can just look at the Wild cards. That makes it a lot easier. We want all 4 of our Briar Legions. I'm not sure that I really need to play that Effigy. Probably not. I've got Bottled Vitae to play with the... wherever he is. The Welding Bot, but that's not really the best. 2 Tyrannosaurus Hex. I mean, I've already got 37. I have room for 3 cards now. And... I mean, I guess I can play the Welding Bot, play the Bottle, and play a Gigantisaur. I've got a lot of ramp to get into these big cards. And I've got a lot of things that are going to... I'm virtually playing... Like, every time I play Chlorophillia, I'm playing with 1 less card because it's drawing one of these wild shards out of the deck. I definitely want 18 resources because I've got, like, Wrathwood Colossus, Gigantisaur, and stuff like that. I think this is good. We'll stick with this. Let's see, what other wild champions can we pick besides Munika Shin? I don't think that there are any that are going to be good enough. I mean, I guess we could play Polonius to get that Squirrel Titan into play. I mean, but what are the chances? I mean, it's 8 resources, and I don't believe that these... Chlorophillia doesn't actually give me play random. So Chlorophillia does build it up. Okay. So maybe we'll try it. We'll try Polonius just to be different. We'll play this guy. Maybe we'll get some Squirrel Titans in play. That'll be fun. This is another really big body, of course. We've got Survival of Fittest for removal. Like, that's like our only removal in the deck. And then we've got Nature's Reigns for games 2 and 3. So, yep, deck builds itself. We did it in 3 minutes. There you go. Of course, we basically almost had it built before we entered this screen. Shinhair really didn't do a lot for us. I guess if we end up playing against some sort of mono ruby, we can side in this Sensei, but we're probably going to lose because they're going to be too fast for us. We do have Crash the Beast that'll help out. Let's look at our costs real quick just to see our curve, which is probably pretty atrocious. But I'm going to go ahead and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We definitely have that 1 Wrathwood Colossus. We've got 2, 3 1 drops, 2 drops. We've got 3, 4, 5 2 drops. Although we can't really play Survival of the Fittest unless our opponent has something in play. However, we do have Briar Legion. 4 of those, 5 3 drops, 4 drops. We've got 2, 3, 4, 6 drops. We had like 2, and the 1 9 drops. So I mean, the curve is somewhat atrocious, but we've got a lot of ramp to hopefully get us in there. So we're going against the flying deck first off. So if we beat this guy, maybe that'll help quite a bit. So I'll just say GL, have fun. This will be my last game here, and then I'm going to play some Diablo 3 no matter what. If I lose this tournament, like this will be my last sealed tournament today, or I mean draft tournament today. So he's choosing if he wants to go first or second. Looks like he AFK'd for a minute for some reason. This makes me wonder if he even built his deck. I see Zophie just joined us. Zophie's another streamer, so you guys make sure to check her out. I think, Irish, did you start streaming as well? Okay, so we're just kind of waiting for Nagapur. At 5 minutes, they don't, they forfeit the game, and then they, on the next game, when you side back in, like they have a minute of siding, and then I believe it's another minute of idleness, and then they forfeit the round. So we have plenty of time. Lots of my friends are here. We got Zophie, Irish, and I've got my friend with me, Jack, Mr. Jack Daniels. Just hanging out. My Jack and Cherry Coke. Usually I go Jack and Dr. Pepper. Today, you know, some Cherry Coke, changing it up a little bit. Can't just do the same thing all the time, you know. That's why I drink 2% milk, you know, so that way when I drink whole milk, it's awesome. I suggest everyone do that. All right. So, we did post the deck building with the Squire from last night, so if you guys haven't checked that out, check that out. I need to actually fix it. Actually, you know what? I can do that while this is sitting here. I need to post the link on it to the court case, because I didn't do that. I posted everything else, though. Okay, it looks like we're going to get to go here. So we have a game. The game is starting. We'll go ahead and keep this. We've got plenty of plays in our hand. We've got the turn 1 Bottle, turn 2 Activate the Bottle, turn 3 Briar Legion. Our opponent says U2, as we said, good luck, have fun. So he made it in time. He didn't forfeit. So he's some sort of Sapphire Diamond deck. So I'm guessing he has the Knights in his deck. It's going to be a lot of bashing in the face type of deck that we're playing here. Play the Bottle, go and pass the opponent's turn, of course. So while this is going on, I'm going to minimize some windows over here on my lappy and pull up the video that I posted so I can fix it. Multitasking. Okay, we're gonna YouTube.com. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, taking the 1 there. Our opponent's taking quite a bit more time damage than we have at this point in the game, so that's always good. Go ahead and draw our card, negating his damage from last turn. And giving us a charge. Getting us closer to that all-powerful Squirrel Titan. We actually are 1 shard away from having enough shards to play the Squirrel Titan here. We get a 2/2 Briar Legion next turn, and then the next Briar Legion will be we'll make all of them 4/4. So not too many plays from him, unless he's going to play something in his second main phase. Good, he's playing things in his second main phase. Alright, seems pretty good. So we'll probably... I don't think he's going to necessarily swing with his Protectorate Clergyman. If he does, I'll probably... no, I'll probably save my Briar Legion so I can hit it with a Wild Aura in response the following turn. But if he swings with this Scrivener, I'll definitely block that. If he buffs him, he can only buff him +1/+1 with whatever that buff is. Or I guess he could throw a bunch of toughness on him, but that would just make them bounce off each other. So let's see, let's go to my uploads here, Video Manager. Silver Talon Senator, that's what we don't want to see. Yeah, it's not looking good for us already on this game. Yeah, he didn't want to swing with his Clergyman and give him up. I don't blame him. So, go ahead and play our shard here. Let's see, if he swings, I can Wild Aura my guy and kill his Senator. So yeah, we'll just pass turn to him, see if he swings in with his Senator or not with his Talon Senator guy. Not an amazing spot here, but you know, we could turn it around. We really need to deal with this Senator because that guy's gonna. If he's smart, he'll just swing with his Senator. But if he swings with the Silver Talon guy, then okay, or he can do that, I guess. Sure. So we'll Wild Roar our guy in his end step. Yep. It seems like a pretty strong play there. There's not a lot we can do about it. So Flyers again are the bane of this deck. I think that we're pretty much hosed at this point. We can't really deal with this Silver Talon. So go to his end step. We'll go ahead and play this Wild Aura here. I guess it really doesn't even matter because now he's got Flock, so I can't even, like, if I swing in, it doesn't even really do anything. So I guess I'll just play a big Honeycap here and take another, whatever, 6 damage. Welding Bot will not let me draw a card, unfortunately, because he'll put this in play and then I'll have to spend 2, and I will have already spent 6. It gives me another charge, I guess, but I can swing next turn, but he's got a lot of life already, and yeah, it's not looking like my game. So at this point, I'm basically just trying to get time out of him. This might be the last game of the evening here for me. Edit. So yeah, I'm just basically trying to take his take away his clock. So I need removal for that Silver Talon Senator. I don't really have any more in my deck, unfortunately. If I could draw my Titan guy, that might help a little bit. I guess I should have played this Welding Bot in the second main phase, so that's a play mistake there. I get a Squirrel Titan next turn, not that it makes that much of a difference. I'm going to swing through and at least do some damage here. So he'll probably just take 4 and go to 21. And then next turn I'll take another 6, go to 4. Yeah, there's nothing I can do to deal with this guy. And that's just unfortunate. But so far I haven't seen a lot of other flyers out of him. So that's 6, 7, 8. Doesn't really change his clock by playing that air superiority. And I didn't get the card where I can kill flyers. I didn't get Turbulence, unfortunately. So I don't have that to side in against him either. So yeah, just all together in a pretty bad spot here. I can't think of a card in my deck that would deal with this situation right now. Okay, well there's a really late survival of Fittest. At this point, I can't even deal with this guy. Let's see, a 6/6 is still not big enough. It's just not big enough to deal with him. So too late on the survival of Fittest. There's almost no reason to play it here. I guess there's a chance I could draw. If I draw the other one, then I can do it. And then I could maybe... No, there's a Crash of Beast. So I'm not going to play any of this stuff because I don't really want to give away too much about my deck. There's really no reason to. So let's just go ahead and pass the turn back to him. And I'll just go ahead and run his clock down a little bit by doing this. I'll just pass as quickly as possible to try to save myself time and run his clock down. So going to game 2, if this happens again, like if I don't draw Survival of Fittest again, like it's pretty much game. That's unfortunate. Alright, so let's see what we've got. I don't think I have anything really that can help out that much. No, nothing. Nature's Reigns. No, I can't throw Flying on. What can I do here? I can... Spell Shield, +1/+1. No, it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, if he draws his flyers again, nothing I can do about it. Quite literally. Yeah, this is the worst deck for me to play against. So, one of the worst as ramp. Some sort of tempo or flying, anything with flying. So, I don't feel too bad about losing this. I'll play first, of course. This is perfectly fine. So it's a turn 2 Chlorophillia into a turn 3 Honeycap or Briar Legion. We'll keep this. Chlorophillia is going to deck thin us. He also did get to go first, I believe. So that kind of puts me at a disadvantage. There's an Animite. This guy's turn 1 Scrivener. Which doesn't do a whole lot for him, really, honestly. It was basically just the one card that he threw out there that I couldn't deal with. And sometimes that's what it comes down to when you're playing. You know, your opponent just plays one card, and if you can't answer it, and it just goes for too long, which that card did, then you lose. That's how it is. So I think we'll go right into the Honeycap here. We'll play the Shard and play the 4/4 Honeycap, and I think that's going to be a pretty strong play here to try to get some damage in before he starts getting aggressive with his flyers, because he's got like 2 turns before he can play that 4-drop. Maybe he'll get stifled on resources, which would be nice for us. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play our Honeycap here. When we swing in with it, I'm considering going with Wild Growth, but I don't know. We'll probably save it. I like to save my combat tricks typically. But we could also, you know, throw 7 damage at him and see how he fares with that. If he bounces this guy, that seems pretty bad. Pretty good chance he has Mesmerize or something in his deck, or any type of diamond removal would also be also take care of Honeycap pretty well. We do give up some card advantage whenever we play Chlorophillia. Okay, so he can exhaust our guy. He can't do it this turn, but he can do it next turn before we go to combat. So another control. Wind Whisper is another good control card for him. So we'll go ahead and play the Wild Shard. Play another Chlorophillia. Getting really close to playing that Squirrel Titan. Attack step, we'll play our Briar Legion in the second main phase. We're like 1 shard away from playing the really big Squirrel Titan. So I'm going to hold on to Wild Growth. I think it'll do us better to have it later. We'll go and play our Briar Legion here. Remember, we've got like 3 more of those in the deck, so this guy can get pretty big as well, just as big as Honeycap. We draw another Shard, we'll be able to play our really big Squirrel Titan. So hopefully he doesn't have his Wizard again. That Wizard just owned my face pretty hard. It did not feel good. He also has to pay 1, so if he does play the Wizard, he won't be able to tap anything down. Plays Infusion Device, so he'll be able to tap stuff down at the beginning of combat. So during combat, if I declare attackers, if you let me declare attackers, and then you try to tap my stuff down, my stuff's still attacking. So you always want to do that at the beginning of combat, before I actually declare my attack. That's why there's a beginning of combat phase for cards like Wind Whisperer. Always want to do it at that point. Also, like, that's why there's a beginning of combat as opposed to just at the end of your main phase, because at the end of your main phase, it's still in your main phase, so you could technically still cast cards during your main phase then, if that were, you know, if they allowed you to do things. So like, yeah, he's doing this, yeah, during my, yeah, so he did that during my main phase, so I can still cast cards here, like if I wanted to. Which you really can't see, but so he did that at the wrong time. He needed to do that during declare combat. So he'll swing back for like 1 here, and that's perfectly fine. We'll have a Squirrel Titan next turn, which that'll be the tap down target for him from now on. We still have Wild Growth to push through damage, or to trade better. Got his 4th activation thingy. Plays Mystic with Flight, so there's a Flight troop we want to deal with. So we can attack our Briar Legion in. If he blocks it, we can Wild Growth him. So that seems pretty good. We'll play our Squirrel Titan in the 2nd main phase. Top decking a lot of shards here, kind of flooding. We'll go to our attack step. Alright, so pass priority. So now he should tap my stuff down. He's not able to. Go and swing with both. He should know I have Combat Trick in hand. Okay, I guess he's not going to block, which he shouldn't be. So he'll take 6. I'll go ahead and play a really big Squirrel Titan, which he can exhaust with his guy and swing through for 1. This doesn't seem the greatest. This guy has to attack every turn as well. He doesn't get a choice. It would be nice to see some more spells, though, at this point in the game. I did deck thin pretty hard. I've played 2 Chlorophillias now, so yeah, a lot of shards are out of the deck. He does have card advantage. He's got 5 cards in hand, so a lot of cards. So hopefully I can just get damage through before he can deal with it. At this point, it's debatable if I just hold on to this shard to bluff with it, because getting another 8 shards is possible. I have 18 in the deck, but not very likely before one of us wins. So I'll probably just hold it to bluff with it. He's should be tapping down my, okay, I guess he's gonna bounce my Squirrel Titan or something. In which case I'll have to play this shard so I can replay him. Yeah, sure. That's fine. So we'll do that in our 2nd main phase. We'll see how the combat goes first. There's that. So let's go to our attack step and we'll just swing in and see if he blocks the Briar Legion. He can tap my thing down, my Honeycap, which he'll do. So, you know, I think what I'm going to do here is just play the Squirrel Titan in the 2nd main phase instead of swinging in with the Wild Aura or the Wild Growth. So we'll just go to our 2nd main phase, play that, and replay the Squirrel Titan. And pass the turn. He could be swinging with this 2-4, but I think he's a little bit afraid to, because he doesn't have a lot of blockers on the table, because he feels like it's holding back the Briar Legion, which it pretty much isn't because I've got this Wild Growth. He can still give something flying if he needs to, but he doesn't have a lot of good choices. I guess he's going to fly his Buccaneer. Okay. So we can swing with his Buccaneer by itself. It puts me on a pretty long clock. It gives me like a 10 turn clock. It's quite a long time, whereas I've got him on a little bit of a shorter clock here. So my damage output's a little bit faster than his. Another Buccaneer for my... Wow, that's annoying. So again, he has all the tools to deal with my deck, so that's really bad for me. And I'm just not drawing enough threats to deal with his stuff. So it'll be Heavy Welding Bot in the 2nd main phase, Wild Growth during combat on our Briar Legion. Or I guess I got another Wild Shard. I guess we'll just do what we did last time. Yep, he'll tap down my guy. I feel like just attacking, because I don't think he's going to block. He should know that I've got combat tricks here. He's thinking about it, though. I can still play Welding Bot, so if I have to use Wild Growth. It's like he's just going to take it, so that's good for me. So 2nd main phase, play another Shard. Play a Squirrel Titan again. See if he has another Buccaneer, although we did see one table, and so it's hard to say. At least he didn't draw his wizard, and he can't do what he did last game. We are down a game at this point, so we do have to win this game and then win another game. And it's not, it's not these decks. This is not in our favor at all. So taking 2 here. He'll be tapping down our Squirrel Titan here. We've got Wild Growth for it. We can still play Welding Bot in the second main phase. He's got Flock. That stinks. We have no answer for Flock. So now he's got, yeah, he can just absorb so much damage right now. He can tap down our Squirrel Titan. Oh, I guess I have a really big Honeycap in the second main phase. Alright, well, let's see what happens here. He can tap down our Squirrel Titan, and he can block Honeycap with Flock. Or either or, really. Be nice to have things with Spell Shield would probably be good here. Maybe I'll put in Effigy with Spell Shield, but I don't think it'll make a difference. Should be blocking Seagulls to Honeycap here is what should be happening. Yeah. So to do that, I'll go ahead and Wild Growth this guy. See if he has Counter Magic for it. He's considering Counter Magicking, I think. Here. And he had to know that I had that Wild Growth. Gets shuffled back into the deck. He'll Time Ripple my guy instead. Okay. So I'll replay it in the second main phase. And it'll get bigger. Wild Growth fizzles, so it doesn't actually activate properly, so he goes in the graveyard. It'll never be in the deck again, which is perfectly fine with me. He saves himself all the damage. And second main phase, we'll go ahead and replay the Briar Legion. So now 4/4 and a Honeycap, which is a 10/10 Honeycap. And we'll take whatever, we'll take 4 damage here, going to 11. Yeah, I didn't notice his resources there, but even if he had Counter Magic open with his resources, I still would have had to have played Wild Growth there. So. And kids are fun. Alright, well. It's probably best that I'm losing this anyways. The way the kids are acting. So you can tap down my Honeycap, so he won't take 10, but he'll probably take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, no, he won't take 6. He'll take 8. I get to play Welding Bot. I mean, I'm on, like, whatever, 3 or 4 turns. He's going to mimic his Flock. So that gives him another... Oh, he can't... And he's going to play another Flock here. I'm not sure why he... Didn't just play the Flock. Okay, well, that's weird. He should have just played his Flock. We'll just go straight into our attack step here. We'll tap down our 10/10. He should have replayed that Flock, because now he's going to take some damage that's unnecessary. Yeah, so he'll take 4 unnecessary damage here. So he's going to take 8, maybe? Gonna chump there, block the Seagulls, take no damage. I think some crush damage went through there. Not sure how. Or maybe just the Ford. I'm not sure what happened. It's gonna counter magic my Welding Bot. Sure, you You had to counter magic my welding bot. I could play this wild shard, but it's better for me to just hold on to it and bluff with it at this point. Because, again, I'm not going to get this Mammoth Squirrel Titan anytime soon. So taking another 4 here puts me to like 7. He can play another flock, so he can basically... he's only taking like 4 damage here. Right? He can chump it, so... I'm not sure why he didn't play that last turn, because he would have saved himself 4 damage. I'm not sure what he just did. I missed it. Oh, he conflicted something. Conflicted my 10-10. Alright. Seems pretty good. So I can't attack with it anymore. So I get a Ruby Aura something, I guess. So we'll go to... or Wild Aura, rather. So I get to crush through some damage. So whatever he blocks with... if he blocks something with Buccaneer, I'll Wild Aura it. Or whatever gets through, basically. Because the flock of seagulls they ruled is going to absorb all the damage, even crush damage. Which is much different than, like, Magic the Gathering rules. So he can deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can deal 7 damage if he saves all of his guys here. So it's just pretty much good game. Because I don't think there's not really a way that I can... I can't not swing, like, here. I have to swing. He blocks both of my guys anyways. Yeah, like, I can't even really do anything here. So, yep, successfully locked down here by Nagapur. So good games to Nagapur. Definitely the deck that I least wanted to see, the least one that I wanted to play against. And he didn't get screwed on resources or anything, so good games to him, and hopefully he does pretty well in this tournament. Just say good games here. So yeah, because there's really, I mean, unless I would like to draw that Titan, that would be nice. That could put me in an okay spot, but not good enough probably. I did, like, so I guess that is a win. Like, even though I lost this tournament, I did draft that Wrathwood Titan, Wrathwood Colossus, although I didn't draw it in either game. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. So, unfortunately, again, the ruling on Flock of Seagulls is that it basically absorbs all the damage, so crush damage won't go over. Otherwise, I could win this here. But because it doesn't do that, it doesn't matter. So I might as well swing because he's got 4 damage on the board anyways. We'll see if he makes some sort of mistake here, but he should block with both his flocks. In which case I'll just Wild Aura him just for good measure. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it anyways, accept. And we'll go ahead and do that to the other one. So again, nothing to get angry about really, because I didn't miss. I don't think I had any misplays during either game. Just, you know, it just was a poor matchup for me, and so this is the type of thing where you really should come out of this match and not feel bad, even though you lost. When you play matches like this, as long as you played them as technically well as you feel like you could possibly play them, then I don't think that's anything to be disappointed about. So 2 losses today. Some nights are night and some nights are not. I think we're going to go ahead and stop here. I'm going to swap over to some Diablo 3. You're welcome to play Diablo 3 with me. I'll be playing as Aaron Squire number 1112.